Does Iran control the world? You've probably seen this idea floating around online. Videos, comments, headlines all claiming that Iran is secretly pulling the strings of global politics, the oil markets, or even superpowers. But today, we're going to set aside the exaggeration and the fear-based claims. Instead, we're going to look at the facts. What kind of power does Iran really have? Where is it influential? And where does this whole idea even come from? Let's break it down calmly and clearly. First, let's define what controlling the world actually means. When people say this, they don't usually mean literal, direct control over every country. They mean influence, the ability to affect events far beyond their own borders. True global control requires a few key things: massive economic power, military bases all over the globe, control over international financial systems, and a vast network of worldwide alliances. Frankly, only a handful of countries even come close to meeting this description, primarily the United States, and to some extent, China. Iran, by these metrics, does not qualify. So, if that's the case, why does it often seem so powerful? The answer is that Iran's strength is regional, not global. Over the years, Iran has strategically built influence across key parts of the Middle East. It does this by supporting allied groups and governments, a strategy that allows it to shape events in neighboring countries without having to launch direct military invasions. You can see this in action with groups like Hezbollah in Lebanon, through its significant political and military influence in Iraq, its support for the Syrian government during the civil war, and its backing of the Houthis in Yemen. This network of allies and proxies is often referred to as the axis of resistance. Through this network, Iran uses indirect influence, which often makes it appear larger and more powerful on the world stage than it actually is. Another major reason Iran gets so much global attention is its geography. Iran sits right next to the Strait of Hormuz. This is a very narrow waterway, but it's incredibly important. Around 20% of the entire world's oil supply passes through it every single day. Any tension or threat of conflict in this area can immediately send shockwaves across the globe. It can cause oil prices to spike, disrupt global markets, and force major international powers to respond. This strategic location gives Iran significant leverage, but it's important to understand that leverage is not the same as control. Iran can influence how other countries react, but it can't dominate the global energy system on its own. So, why is Iran's power so often exaggerated? There are three main reasons. First, media amplification. Any regional conflict involving Iran is likely to affect oil, Israel, or major world powers. This guarantees global media coverage, which magnifies its actions. Second is its asymmetric strategy. Iran tends to avoid direct, conventional wars with more powerful nations. Instead, it relies on indirect pressure, cyber activities, and diplomacy. These actions are much harder to track and counter, making its influence seem more mysterious and pervasive. And third, there's online myth-building. Social media algorithms love simple, dramatic narratives. Complex geopolitical situations get flattened into easy-to-digest conspiracy theories, and the idea of a secret puppet master is a story that spreads like wildfire. So let's be perfectly clear about what Iran does not do. It does not control global banks. It does not control the governments of the United States or Europe. It does not control the United Nations. And it doesn't control world trade or technology. In reality, Iran is facing its own serious challenges. It's under heavy international economic sanctions, which have crippled its economy. It deals with high inflation and significant internal protests. And its military has a very limited reach outside of its immediate region. So, to answer our original question, does Iran control the world? The answer is a clear no. Iran is a significant regional power. It has a smart, asymmetric strategy, strong influence in certain parts of the Middle East, and critical geographic leverage. But it is not a global controller. Understanding geopolitics means learning to separate influence from domination. And most importantly, separating facts from fear. And now, you know the difference. If you appreciate calm, clear explanations of global politics without all the hype, make sure to subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks for watching.